I'm Bet from BettesMakes, and today we're going to make some ghosts and witches, and we're actually going to use them as cutouts. I have some from a lantern project that we had done in the past. We've got these little witches. I've got them in orange and I've got them in black. And I actually have a little cat that I cut out as well. So what we're going to do is just fill up 2 sheets of paper with a bunch of cutouts that we can use for decorations on our windows, on the walls, or whatever it happens to be. Now, I just use cardstock for when I'm doing my cuts so that I can use a little bit of double-sided tape that's easy to pull off the walls, and then I can use them for the next year. So that's the important part about it. So let me just hide this. And what I want to do is I'm just going to draw in a square, and I'm going to make it 11.5 by 11.5. So I don't need to unlock it. I'm just going to go for my width up here under the size, type in 11.5 because that's the maximum that we're going to be able to do when we're cutting in Cricut Design Space. So it allows 11.5 by 11.5, and we can work around everything else. I'm just going to change the color here, and I'm just going to make it a white background because I will be able to see what I'm working on, and I'm going to duplicate it because we're going to make 2 pages of items. I'll just put them close together. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to place on some shapes onto these 2 sheets of paper. And we're not going to cut the paper itself, but we're just going to do the cutout pieces of it. Now, this is a pretty simple project. So I'm just going to click on Upload. I have some cute little shapes that I can already use. So I have like a hat. I have a witch. I have a cat that I can use. And there's a couple of other witches here that I could use. So we're going to start with those. And some of them will come in pretty big and some of them pretty small, but they're just cut items that we want. Oh, they all came in together. Okay, so let me just pull it apart. That's pretty big witch. And these witches are pretty big as well. And I have a hat. And I have the cat here. So this hat, I want to take a look at it. It's got a background on it, so I'm not going to use it. So I'm going to click the X. I have these 2 witches right here, and it looks like they are together, and that one has a cat. These 2 don't. I'm going to probably cut that in half. So let me just scroll down here a little bit, just show you a little bit what I want to do. I want to separate these 2 items. So let me just take a circle. I think this is going to work. I'm going to take a circle, I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm just going to expand the circle so I hide that one witch. Not a little bit bigger yet. I see a piece poking out. Now that's just so I don't see the other one. That looks good. I'm going to highlight both of those items, and I'm going to come down here at the bottom of the layers panel, and I'm going to click slice. Now I've got this one. Actually, that would be a cute thing to cut out all by itself. You could just cut that one out and have the circle with the hole in the middle. That would be kind of cute too, but I don't think I want to use it this time. Now I end up with a gray one and a black one, which is just absolutely okay. It gives me 2 of those, and I have another witch here. So I'm going to move the cat over here. Now I love this witch, but she's awfully big. So I'm just going to shrink her down and probably put her into this corner. So what I'm trying to do here is fill up the area as best I can. And I have another one of her. I've got 3 different witches here. I'll probably make her just a tiny bit bigger now because I notice I can fit her in there. They don't all have to be the same size, but that looks pretty good. And I have another witch here. I'll make her a little smaller. Maybe I'll make 2 of her. So let me duplicate her. Add her here. That's not too bad. I want to try and use up as much of my paper as possible. So get them as close as possible together. I have this little cat here. Why don't I stick the cat in here? nice cat. That's a giant cat. So let me just make the cat a little bit smaller and put it here. I have room for other witches and items, but I think what I want to do is I'm just going to make these again and hold down my shift key as I pick these three, and I'm going to duplicate them, and I will just bring them down here. Don't worry if they are different colors at this point. Just move those into place. And I've got this cat. I wonder if the cat will fit in here. What I'm trying to do is just place items. I'm going to duplicate this cat as well. See where I can fit them to use up all of the extra little spaces. Remember, these are just cuts. And I want the witches to kind of, maybe I can move this witch over a little bit, and then I can move the cat into place. I want it to cut, but not interfere. Looks pretty close, but I think I can do it that way. These witches, this is sitting on top of the cat. So I've got another cat here. Okay, let's bring a couple of cats up here. Let's bring one over here, and let's duplicate this one again. I can probably fit one in here and another one right beside it. So as you can see, I'm just trying to build up my page the best I can. I can move this guy down over here, so it's just touching the edges. And I might be able to move this witch up into here. And if she's not touching anything else, that looks really good. And I probably fit this one up into here. Don't think I can get another one of her, but maybe I just do a few more cats. Let me duplicate this cat again. Maybe bring that cat over here. And I got a little bit of room down here, so I'm going to try a couple more cats. Remember, this is a simple process, and we're just trying to fill up a block of paper with all the different elements in it. I'm just using a couple of elements here, and that didn't look too bad. I've got a couple of extra holes. I could have put something else in place, but I'm not going to. Okay, my witches look really good. So I am going to select everything here, but I'm going to remove the white area behind, and I see down in the layers panel, I'm just going to turn it off so I don't see it. Now I'm going to select it all again, and I am going to weld it together. So now this becomes one cut piece. All went gray, but that's okay. We can change the color from gray. We'll make it a nice dark color. So these are all going to cut out as one piece, and that's exactly what we want to do. Now we can add some ghosts to this one. I don't happen to have any ghosts, so I'm going to check for images, and I'm going to type in ghost and just see what we get for ghost. Now we want something that will cut out easily, like this guy. This one will too, so I will also click on this one. This one will as well, and maybe this one, and maybe this one. I've got 5 of them now. And maybe this one. And what else could we put in there? Oh, there's a nice one here. I've got lots of them now. I'm just going to add them to the canvas. It should take a second or two to come in. There we go. Just bring them over here, and I'll click away. And now we've got a bunch of ghosts that we can place on here. Now you're saying, oh, but the ghosts are black. Well, it doesn't really make any difference because we're going to cut them out on white paper. So I'll just get to the edge here. Let's see, what have we got here? We've got another one here. And all I'm trying to do here is just fill up the paper like I mentioned before, which this one, he'll fit right in there so nicely. We have this guy as well, and maybe this one. And a big area here, so I might be able to duplicate this guy and bring him over. Looks not too bad. I've got 8 of them, so I'm just going to hold down the shift key and click on them. Make sure I got them all, and I am going to duplicate, and I'm just going to bring them down here and see if I can fit everything in on that page. So it's really close to what we want. So I'm just going to move this guy down into the corner, bring this guy down over here. A couple of things that I can move into place just to make sure everything is going to fit. This guy could probably fit down here a little better. Move this one over and didn't want to make him change size. That's okay. We can make this guy little as well. We don't have to have them all really huge. I'll make simple ones. Let's duplicate this guy. Let's bring him over here and shrink him to fit into that space. As you can see, we're making a nice little pattern. Oh, I'm going to duplicate him one more time. And I'm going to fit him down here as well. And maybe we've got one more sitting here, this guy. I'm going to sit him up here. I think I should be able to fit him in there, and this one down a little bit more. Might just shrink him up just a little bit so he fits. And now we have our set of ghosts. So now I'm going to scroll down here, and we have one more basic cut square here, and I am going to just hide it. And what I want to do is just take all of these together, and I am going to weld them in place so they are one basic cut. You see, I've got Guy here. Where is he? Oh, we have an extra one. I'm just going to delete him for now. And we've got these 2 pages of items, and then all we need to do is cut these out, and then it doesn't matter what material you're going to use, but you can cut them out, and then you have all of these different shapes you can use to decorate your walls or whatever that happens to be. Okay, we are going to now save this. So let's come up to save. And these are going to be Halloween cutouts. Could use pumpkins. Just want to use witches and ghosts. I'm going to put it under my October makes. So that's in a collection. I'm going to click on save. I'm going to click my little check mark here to make the blue line go away. And then I'm going to come over here to makeup. Actually, it's not supported machine wise. We must have something that's just a little too big. I will check up here. 11.318, 11. It says it's just a little too big. So let's make this 11 by 11 and print, then cut. Oh, it wants print, then cut. I just want it as a cut. That's what it is. Just a basic cut. There, it seems to be happy now, and that one's a basic cut as well. Okay, we are ready to go. I'm just going to click on Make It. It fits into our mats. We are going on the mat. I'm just going to click Done here. And basically, it's just going to ask for a basic cut with everything. So let's click on Continue. And my machine is on, so I just want to check that. I'm going for a medium cardstock, and all I need to do is load my fine point blade. So I'm going to stop the share. There we go. And I'm just going to move this into position a little bit so you can see everything that's going on. I have a couple of little witches and things that I had printed out before. I'll move those off to the side. So what I've decided to do is I'm just going to use a plain, it's a dark gray paper, a Halloween paper that I got at Michael's, and a white one, which is a more of a premium cut. So we're going to start with the first one that it's asking us for, and I do believe we are doing the witches first. All I need to do is feed this in. I'm actually going to bring it a little closer to me, so we have room in behind, and then it's just going to spend its time and it's going to do the cuts that we're asking for. All right, we have all of our witches cut, and now I'm going to add the mat for the next one, but I do have to go into Design Space and I have to tell it the type of cardstock I'm going to use. And it looks like it's happy with what I have. I'm just going to load the paper. Just going to check and make sure I've got the right blade. It just takes a few minutes for each one of these to cut. And I know if you're sitting there watching it, sometimes it feels like a very long time. And while this one is doing its cut, we're going to start taking these ones off the mat. So I'm just going to slide my machine over just a little bit. So I have some extra room to work. I don't have a large work area, so it's a little bit different here. So you can just see a little bit of what I'm going to be working on here. I'm just going to turn my mat over and I'm going to start pulling things off the mat in this way. I'm going to roll the mat away and it looks like I'm losing some of the pieces that I had. Get them all off. I ended up with a couple of extra little cuts here. Just pull those off by hand. There we go. Just move my mat out of the way. Pulling some of these pieces apart, and as you can see, there's little pieces that you have to be aware of when you're pulling them. That's why the type of paper is really important as you work through it. There we go. So now we have one of the witches already. Use a mat here so that you can see what I'm pulling off. Witches, and of course I had one of the cats here. These are going to be great wall decorations. Another cat here. Pull up my cats. Oh, these are lovely. And a nice clean cut on these. These are looking fabulous. Hiding underneath here. Same witch. They're really close together, so I just pull the cat off. Another one of these nice big witches. So you end up with lots of cats because they are perfect as fillers. These would be great as stickers as well. I think we got most of our witches off there. Now there are a few extra. I mean, we could have made it a little tighter. We could have added a few more things in here. But basically, you want to not waste any paper if you don't have to. So I've got little bits that I can use again for another project, little squares of pieces. So what I will do is I will put that away in my scrap box, and then we can use it a little later. Also, while we're waiting for this other one to cut, I'm just going to clean off my mat. Now I'll put the protective cover on it. Throw those scrap pieces out. Okay, we are ready to inject this one. I noticed I got a couple little cut. It just came out ahead of time, even though I used the brayer, but I think that's part of the pattern anyway. So let me just click on finish here in Cricut Design Space. I'm just going to minimize that. So now we have a little working room. I'm just going to shut my machine off, close it up, and move it towards the back. And I have all these little debris pieces. I'll just move over here, this up here. So once again, I'm going to turn my mat over and I'm going to peel the mat away from all of the pieces that I can see here. Let's see, another one stuck in here. It's a pretty strong mat. This is a newer mat that I was using. I don't worry about the debris so much, but I do want to get all of the bigger pieces off while I roll the mat. I think we're going to have some nice ghosts here. A little bit of patience. Just want to make sure you get everything peeled off. I say don't worry about the debris so much. You can always clean that off later. There's a little ghost here. Just be gentle with it as you pull it off. All the little eyes and everything that get left behind. Okay, almost there. Patience. And I still have a couple here that are still on there, so I'm just going to roll the mat around that. It's an interesting one. I just want to stay there. Now, what I have left on the mat are just a ghost, and I see one of my witches got picked up there. Now, look at all these interesting little pieces that I could probably use for decoration. So I'm just going to grab onto some of these big smiley pieces. Just take them gentle. Might be able to use those a little later. My goal here is not, you don't want to waste things. You can keep these little dots and use them in projects as well, instead of cutting out more. Some of these, and just keep them as little decorations. And we've got all kinds of different other ones, which I'll pull off a little later. Let me just move that out of the way. Now let's see how we did here on this. Looks like we have some white pieces that we could probably have filled in a little bit more, but generally we've got a little bit of scrap white left. Oh, we have this guy's just hooked in here. Get him out of there. There we go. Move that off to the side. Now we have some ghosts that we can also use for decoration. So nice big ones. And these are a lot of fun. Kids are going to love these. These will make great additions for different cards that they make. Wall decorations. It could be a desk decoration as well. And these are just simple cutouts. The biggest key here is there's nothing that you had to worry about. If it cut out, it wouldn't destroy the design. So they're actually ideal for stencils as well. So you can use them as stencils, put them as stencil paper. So these are just a few ideas that you can use in order to make paper cutouts and make some incredible designs for wall decorations, cards, or anything that you want. So I hope you have a lot of fun with this. Until next time, happy crafting.